In the vise, we've got a Union Chubb 3G114E. This is the British standard version of this lock with the hard plate. It's got the 20mm bolt throw. The levers are open-ended. Yeah, so I've put this in the vise and I've mounted it on the right because it's easier to video it that way. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the pin and cam tool. This is the GJ 3G114E pin and cam tool. I'm going to use this to see whether we can work out the bitting in the lock without taking a plasticine read. And the reason being is the 3G220, which is the narrow stile version, has the lever pack in a vertical position as opposed to horizontal in relation to the lock, which means that it's very difficult, if not impossible, to actually take a reading off the back of the levers to work out what's in there. So the only way of opening this is to work your way through all the different pin heights and decode the lock. We don't need to do that on the 114, but I'm going to practice on this first before I then do that lock there. The reason being is I've put a scope inside this lock. The open fronted levers allow you to see the bolt stump and allow you to see the fences and the fronts of those levers and how they're interacting with the bolt stump as we're working through. So on the bottom of the picture there, you can see the pin and cam tool. You can see pin 1 there. I'm lifting pin 1 up. So what we're going to do is we're going to pop this in. We're going to pick up the tension, and then I'm going to lift pin 1. And nothing's happening on pin 1. Let's go to pin 2, lever 2. Nothing's happening on lever 2. Let's go to 3. Okay, I can feel the fence rubbing on 3. 4 feels like it's tapping in the gate, and 5 again, I can feel that fence rubbing on the bolt stump. So out of all of these levers, 3 and 5 are the 2 that are giving me the feedback that suggests that they need to be raised a pin height. This is a 7-cut key, and with a 7-cut key, you have an ABA pattern which follows whatever happens to pin 3 will happen to pin 5 and vice versa. So I'm going to raise 3 up 1 height, and then I'm going to raise pin 3. So pin 3, raise pin 5 and pin 3. They were C heights, they've now gone up to B heights. There we go. So that's the tool being reloaded. Let's pop that in. Let's see how that's going to affect the way this lock is picking. Starting on 1 again. Okay, so 1's gone up and it's stayed up, so that's obviously in a gate. Let's do 2. 2 is loose. Let's go to 3. 3 is loose. Let's go to 4. 4 is tapping in a gate. Let's go to 5. Okay, so 5 is raised up and it's got jammed. And I could feel the fence of the lever rubbing against the bolt stump. So I'm going to raise both 3 and 5 another height. So we'll take those up from a B pin to an A pin on the from the pinning tray here. There we go. Let's pop that back in. Let's see how the lock reacts now. Let's go back to 1, So I've just lifted one up and I've felt the bolt stump jump back. That's a good sign. Let's go to 2. Okay. 2 is feeling like it's rubbing on the fence. The fence is rubbing on the bolt stump. Let's go to 3. 3 is tapping. 4. Okay, I've just lifted 5, and I felt another little bit of movement on the curtain there. 5, 4, 3. So I would say 5 and 3 are both tapping now. Let's go to 2. So 2 is really heavily bound now. So I'm going to change the pin height on 2. There we go. Let's take that up from, that's currently C height. So I'm going to change that over to a B. If I can get my, if I get the pin out. There we go. So take that from a C to a B. So that's the next one up. And the next, put that pin back in. Okay, reset the pick. Let's pop it in. Let's see what's going to happen now. Okay, so pin 1. Okay, so that's lifted up, and I've felt a bit of rotation on the curtain. 2 is tapping quite nicely now. 3 is tapping. 4 is tapping. Okay, so I've just lifted 5, and again, a little bit of rotation on the curtain. 4 is still set. 3, a little bit more rotation. 2, there we go. And we got the lock open. So the feedback on this was very predictable from the start to the finish to allow me to get the open. So you can walk the pin heights up and rely on the feedback to get an open on this. So what we need to do now is we need to put the 220 in the vise and see whether we can do the same thing to get the open. Right, I've put the 3G 220 narrow style lock into the vise. I've reloaded the pin and cam tool with all C heights, which are the lowest heights lift for this particular lock. And what I'm going to do is, we're now picking this on the left. I'm going to pop that pick in, pick up that curtain and throw the bolt stump into the lever pack, and let's just see what we can feel on this particular lock. So 1 is loose. Actually, let's go the other way around because we're now picking from the front backwards. So the first lever is just scraping, feel the fence just scraping on the bolt stump. Second lever is loose. Third is loose. Fourth again is just scraping on the bolt stump. And 5, okay. I've just turned 5 and it met a bit of resistance and then it jumped. Let's do that again. There. And when they do that, that's telling me that pin needs to go up. So that's a C at the moment. Let's change it to a B. And because this is an ABA pattern lock, 7-cut key, we need to do the same thing to pin number 3. There's pin 3. Let's take that out. Oh, little pins going everywhere here. And what we'll do is we'll put 3 in as a B height, and we'll put 5 in as a B height. Reset the pick. Okay, let's pop it in. Let's start from 1 again and see how the feedback has changed. So 1 is loose. 2 is a little bit of resistance. 3 is loose, 4 is loose, 5 is loose. Okay, go back to the front. Let's run through a second time. So there's that little kick that I've been talking about on lever 1. So I lifted it up to a height and then it clicked. So again, that's now telling me that lever 1 pin height needs to go up from a C to a B. Okay, let's see how that's changed the picture. So back to 1. And again, there's that little, you can feel the lever rubbing on the fence, rubbing on the bolt stump, and then releasing at the top. So I'm now going to change that from a B height to an A height, which is hopefully going to be high enough. Let's just find out. Let's pick that up. Okay, so now lever 1 is loose, potentially tapping. Let's go to 2. Two's doing the same thing that 1 was doing just now. So it's lifting up slightly and then it's jumping. So I'm going to change that pin height from a C to a B. And the feedback is quite predictable in as much as it seems to be repeating itself. So let's try that again. Let's pick the pack up. So the lever 1 is in its gate. Lever 2 is now loose. Lever 3 is now loose. 4 has lifted up and jumped. Let's do that again. We'll pick the other ones first. So there's 1, there's 2, there's 3, there. So 4 has lifted up and jumped. Let me change that from a C to a B, like the other ones. That's all the B's out now. There we go. So should I say that's all the C heights out? So let's go back in and check the feedback now. So I've just touched the first pin and the lock has jumped into anti-pick. And the pin in anti-pick is 2, which I think is currently on a B. So we'll lift that up to an A. There we go, there's 2 A's. Let's try again. So we've jumped into anti-pick again. So A is in gate. So the first lever's in gate, the second lever's in gate, third, fourth. Okay, so lever 5 feels like it's in anti-pick. That means that then 5 and 3 both need to be changed from a B to an A. And hopefully that might remedy this anti-pick situation. Let's just fiddle that out of there. There we go. That's a B. That's now going to be an A. As is going to be pin 5. Right. It looks like a very flat-bitted key now. Let's just see what see where we're at with this now. Aha. Okay, so we've got the open. It doesn't feel particularly smooth. It's gone all the way around. It didn't feel particularly smooth, but it's got the lock open. And if I take that out, clearly it's not the actual bitting of the key, but it's been good enough to open that, which with the 220 is to my mind a complete success, because there's no way of decoding it apart from working through the process that I've just done and feeling for the feedback. So there we are. It can be done. And yeah, the feedback seems to be quite predictable, in as much as if you lift the pins up and then they get towards the top and they jump, then they go up in pin height. If you can feel them scraping against the side of the fence, against the side of the bolt stump, again, that's another clue. And then, of course, once it started going into anti-pick, then we were able to work out which ones were solid, and we had to change to take them out of anti-pick. So yeah, it can be done. Interesting. I look forward to seeing my next 220 out in the field and being able to pick it.